Is Chipotle a waste of money? People, what up? What's good? It's your boy TwoCentz. Y'all heard the question right. We have a video here, man, from Ethan. I'm gonna say his last name is C. Shout outs to bro. I can't pronounce words like that. But we got an interesting video, man, talking about Chipotle. Y'all know we love the big body, wide body, fast food type of videos on this channel. So let's get into it. But before we do, man, what's your favorite Chipotle order? What's your go-to, man? I love, you know what I'm saying? I'm more of a bowl with the double rice, no beans. Let me get the chicken, or let me get the steak. Right then, let me get the corn, cheese, and lettuce with the pico de gallo. I'm fat, y'all. Let's get into it.
This Chipotle quesadilla with a side of guac cost me $15.75. Now, if I took $15.75 into this grocery store behind me, there is absolutely no way that I would be able to buy all the ingredients I need to make Chipotle at home. And even if I do buy all the ingredients, I still need to do the prep work, the cooking, and the cleaning. Now, some people may see this and argue that, yeah, eating out is oftentimes much cheaper and easier than cooking at home.
Well, we know it's not, y'all. I mean, maybe you don't, but right, if you've been watching the channel, man, shout outs to you first of all. But y'all know, man, we've done plenty of videos on McDonald's and all these fast food restaurants, and the complaint is it used to be cheaper than groceries, but now it's not even, it's more expensive nowadays, right? And groceries prices are going up as well. So I wonder how he's gonna break it down. Like, is he gonna divide it into the exact same serving size, and I don't know, the queso, right? Multiply it by a decimal of how much percentage of the queso he used. Like, I wonder how he's gonna find determine the math for it. But this should be interesting, man.
However, other people will say that grocery shopping and cooking at home will save you time and lots of money. I mean, guac does cost extra.
Right.
And the truth is, both of these arguments can be correct depending on the context, and that's what I want to figure out in this video.
Let's see it.
So I'm going to keep track of all of the related time and monetary costs to make Chipotle's quesadilla, such as how much time it takes me to order versus planning a list, driving to Chipotle versus the grocery store, picking it up versus the prep work, the cooking, and then cleaning. And by the end of this video, I hope to provide you with a transparent cost and time comparison between cooking and ordering out, because honestly, there are a lot of hidden costs to both approaches.
Right. And it changes. Cause like if you get it off of DoorDash too, or Uber Eats or whatever app, you're gonna be paying double for the quesadillas or the bowl or the burrito, whatever you getting. You're gonna be paying twice the amount. So yeah, this should be really interesting, y'all. I'm excited for this.
Taste test to compare the flavor differences between the two as well, because when I saw the quesadilla and how they make this, I was actually very impressed with the method, because it solves the two biggest problems that I have when making quesadillas at home. So Chipotle's quesadilla is made by first layering down the cheese on a large 12-inch tortilla and layering the meat right on top. Now, instead of folding it into a half moon or stacking another tortilla over it, they fold it into a square. And that's the key. By folding it this way, there are no open edges. This way, you can really load it up with as much cheese, meat, and fillings as you want without worrying about everything spilling out like a traditional fold-over quesadilla. And the second clever part is how they serve it, with sauces on the side. Because of the form factor, you can cut it in half and dip it, and it actually holds together when you go in for the salsa, your sour cream.
Man. I hate to cut off the his explanation, but I've actually never had a quesadilla from Chipotle. It's only been a bowl or a burrito. But I know y'all big backs, y'all wide bodies in the comment section have. I know y'all have. Don't lie.
Your guacamole. It's clean, controlled, and built to dip. Now, the only issue is you may or may not have a Chipotle near you, and as we'll see, for $14 or $15, I feel like I'm getting skimped on the beef compared to how I would make them at home, and there may be more time involved than you think when consider ordering and driving to get it. Okay, so by the time I got all the payment information in there and everything, that was probably 60 to 90 seconds or so, and I'll show you exactly what I got. The beef barbacoa quesadilla with tomato red chili salsa, sour cream, and the guac, which yes, is extra. But with this method, it's an online only order, so I actually don't need to wait in line when we get there, which is something that you might have to do. All I need to do is now drive there, pick it up, and then we can eat. Now I actually need to go get it, and yes, everyone's Chipotle will be a different distance away. Mine happens to be a 15-minute drive. Again, I'm just showing what I would actually do. So I drove to Chipotle, parked, walked in, and grabbed the order, let's call that 2 minutes in total, then drove the 15 minutes back home. I like to eat in my own kitchen, maybe throw in a YouTube video, so I'll include the extra minute from walking to my seat to actually sitting down with the food. Okay, so I'll do the final tallies of timings in just a second, and yes, it did get a little messy. That might have been me. I might have accidentally knocked it when it was in the seat a little bit, but this should still taste good. So let's kind of see what we're working with. And I do want to kind of weigh everything just to see. Okay, so it's like 120
Damn,
grams.
he is not playing about about all the metrics, bro. Bro, weighing the guacamole, about to weigh the quesadilla. Hey, man, I respect it, y'all. This is a great video, man.
And I want to see how much this quesadilla weighs. 220 grams. Okay, so it's like a pretty solid amount. Yeah, and like I said, got a little gnarled up in there, but I think this should still taste pretty solid. Beef is definitely spicy, nicely seasoned. And then I think this, for me, is why this is kind of like a genius way to serve it. It's because, like, you have the dipping trays, you can add guac, add the sour cream, your salsa, whatever you want. For our final tally, ordering Chipotle once came out to $15.75 in about 33 minutes and 30 seconds.
Got it.
And on a one-off basis, especially if you're like on the way home, this can feel pretty reasonable. However, I think the trap that we all fall into is that when we do this on just kind of a one-by-one basis, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. Because if we zoom out and look across multiple days, for example, like a 5-day work week, that means there are 9 more lunches and dinners to cover. And sure, you could definitely order Chipotle 9 more times. I don't think many of us are doing that, but some probably are. But I bring this up because most of us are probably already going to the grocery store anyway. And as we're about to see, grocery shopping and cooking at home will almost always have significant more upfront cost in both time and money, but it might not be as much as you think. And I was surprised that I was able to spend less than $50 on groceries to not just make more quesadillas, but also bigger quesadillas too. Mine ended up being about 60 grams heavier because I loaded them with more meat and more cheese. So let's head to the store and cook. Okay, to start, I had to put together the list of 15 items that I need, which took me 4 minutes. And after taking 13 minutes drive to the grocery store, I'm ready to shop. My produce items were avocado, cilantro, garlic, jalapenos, lime, and white onion. For the meat, I got a big prime chuck roast, then some Monterey Jack for the cheese, Mexican crema, some store-bought salsa, and then I bought some cumin and smoked paprika from the bulk section, and a jar of ancho and guajillo chili powder. And after checking out with every item, walking back to the car, it was only about 11 minutes to do the shopping, then I drove 13 minutes back home to be greeted by Hopper. And my total grocery cost ended up being $47.64. And I'll leave this table linked below if you want to check out the very granular details. But this is the full sticker price on all these items except these 4, which are salt, some dark soy sauce, beef bouillon, and a little bit of oil. I've had these for months now, so I feel like it's pretty fair to just use the itemized cost for those.
Right.
Now, what's interesting about this cost is that the 5 most expensive items make up around 80% of the total cost, and here they are. First up, we have the prime chuck roast, which was $19.34 or $7.99 per pound. Next, we have red salsa at $5.52, and I could have bought the ingredients to probably make a red salsa from scratch. Maybe it would have been a little bit cheaper, but honestly, the time didn't feel like it was going to be worth it. Third, we have a block of Monterey Jack at $4.99. Fourth, we have a pack of large 12-inch tortillas, which were $4.58. And lastly, we have the Mexican crema, which was $3.69. And really, these are all core items you have to buy if you want to make a quesadilla, but there is a good chance you may have some of the other items, like the spices, the garlic, onion, and things like that. Now, from a monetary perspective, we're looking pretty good to be able to make several quesadillas, and I want you guys to guess how many we'll be able to make. But we do still need to factor in the time, and we're not looking so good from there. We're over 40 minutes, and we haven't cooked anything yet. So let's change that. So to start, we need to turn this chuck roast into a...
Damn, y'all, that looks so good, man. I'm about to eat after. As soon as this video's over, I'm getting something to eat.
beautiful braised barbacoa-style beef. This is an optional step, but I decided to take 90 seconds and salt the meat ahead of time before tossing it in the fridge overnight. Then the next morning at 7:14, I got the lights on, added a little oil to the Dutch oven, and let that heat up for a minute or two before sliding in that chuck roast. Which, while the beef cooked, I
Yeah, he
grabbed
making overnight roast, man. Like, that's a good 8 more hours that I feel like you gotta add. So, I mean, I've it seems like the Chipotle is actually gonna be worth it if he's doing like a well, I don't know exactly how to describe it, but like dollar per minute spent or per it's weird, but I mean obviously he made it, so he's gonna explain it, right? But I think the Chipotle is actually gonna be a little bit cheaper, man.
a bowl of water for the braising liquid, and to that I added a big spoonful of the beef bouillon, a little splash of dark soy sauce for color because I've been wanting to try that out, and then after flipping the beef over to let the other side cook, a squirt of tomato paste. Then I pulled the chuck out and let's add the aromatics. I tossed in 4 big cloves of crushed garlic, then I dumped in basically the entire container of chili powder, all of the cumin, and all of the smoked paprika, and that's it. You let this bloom up for a second before pouring in the braising liquid, and just look at the rich color. Lastly, add the beef back in with the lid over the top, and into the oven it goes at 225 degrees Fahrenheit. Now obviously this braised beef is going to take several hours, but in terms of active time, it only took me 8 minutes and 12 seconds to get it into the oven, then another 2.5 minutes of cleaning up before Hopper was ready for his morning walk. Then at around 3 p.m. I decided to check on it, and as you can see, when I twist my fork, those fibers easily start to lift up, which means it's ready. So I grabbed the
Yo, that looks so good. But yeah, man, it's been about 16 hours by now, bro.
beef out and decided to give it a rough chop, but as you can see, it's so tender it's kind of just falling apart anyway. Of course, make sure to add a couple spoonfuls of the fatty, juicy braising liquid so it gets into all those little nooks and crannies of the shredded beef. Now I did weigh this out and I had 800 grams of
800
usable beef,
grams.
which if we use a standard Chipotle scoop at 4 ounces or 113 grams, this means we'll have enough beef to make 7 quesadillas worth. Now, I don't think there's going to be enough cheese for 7, we're going to need to weigh it out. But anyway, this brings our total braised beef active time to another 5 minutes for the shredding and another 3 minutes and 30 seconds to clean up. And lastly, before assembly, we need some guac. I'm keeping mine super simple by just adding a couple of avocados to a food processor with some lime juice and salt and blending that until it's smooth. Then I diced up the serrano, onion, and cilantro and mixed those in after blending, so there's a couple of crunchy bits in there. And that's it. We've got all the components we need to make a Chipotle-style quesadilla at home. So let's cook this thing, and really this is where the magic of the braised beef shines, because if you prep that ahead of time and store it in the fridge or freezer, you can have one of these quesadillas in minutes.
Right.
To start, I weighed out 4 ounces of the beef and just warmed it in the microwave, and instantly we've got that glorious, luxurious, rich, juicy sheen that you get from good, fatty braised.
And see, y'all, I can't watch this while I'm eating like you can. I'm not trying to eat into the mic and ruin you guys' experience, man. I'm just trying to chime in every once in a while and give my 2 cents. So y'all, let me know what y'all eating. I know y'all eating something. I know y'all eating.
Beef and our seasonings. Then for the cheese, I use 75 grams, which I think is the sweet spot, and that's enough to make 6 quesadillas in total, which will be our baseline moving forward for the numbers. So, to assemble, it's simple. Lay down a base layer of cheese first, add the beef on top, fold, then fold again into that neat little square, and then sear it on both sides until golden brown and crispy. And if you do want to help get that golden brown, I do recommend weighing this down a little bit. Now, while those were cooking, I got my sauces ready, the guacamole, the red salsa, and the sour cream, all lined up on the tray, and by the time I checked back, that quesadilla was beautifully brown on both sides, and I've got to say, ours is looking a little bit nicer than the ones from Chipotle. Now, I cut it in half and just look at this cheesy juiciness inside. It's perfectly melty, the perfect texture of the quesadilla, and before we do the taste test, let's take a look at the final numbers. So for the homemade quesadilla, the grocery cost came to $47.64, and if we divide that by 6, that's going to be about $7.94 per serving. However, I did mention mine are bigger, so if we adjust by weight, it's going to be closer to $6.35, but we'll just keep the $7.94 number. Then for the time, this kind of depends on how you approach it. Like if you're making a big batch of beef and then using it up throughout the week, you're probably only adding about 8 extra minutes for each one after you make the first one. And I actually vacuum sealed and froze half of my beef so I could use it for quick reheatable meals and I don't need to start from scratch. Now, there are some hidden costs that don't show up in the math comparison here. I mean, cooking does take more
Yeah, man,
mental
and
effort.
that's the thing. Like, you know, obviously we understand the way he factored the pricing in or the time in, but yeah, it was way more than what did bro have it at, like 30 some? No more than an hour, but like it was way more than that. It was like 16 hours, man, because he prepped the beef overnight, and then bro like went to work and came back, and it was ready to go after that, So yeah, man, it's just all about how you look at it, I guess. But I guess I was wrong then, huh?
You need to plan your grocery list. You might need to start the braise before work so dinner is ready later tonight. While ordering out is easier. You don't have to think, you just go. And I think that's the big reason a lot of us do it. It's the convenience when we haven't planned or prepped anything. But I do have to mention there are also hidden benefits to cooking. Because even if these did cost the exact same, personally, I just have more fun cooking most often.
Word.
When that braised beef is simmering away in the oven, I get the anticipation when I'm sitting at my desk, and there's nothing that I like more than sitting down to eat something that I have created to see how it tastes. So with that, let's do our final taste test between the two. Okay, so we've made it to the final taste test. Let's get into these things. So one of the biggest, I think, visual and differences you can see is kind of the meat to cheese ratio. I feel like Chipotle really kind of skimped us
Yeah, they
here.
scammed them.
So what I'm gonna do is weigh these out. I'm kind of
They always do, and I don't know if you guys have seen those videos where people be like, I don't think they really do this anymore, but like how you hold your phone up to see if they giving you like a good enough serving, or if you just have like a certain type of look on your face, they'll give you a little bit more, right? That's the Chipotle tech.
The first one I weighed was like 220. Yeah, 215. I'm almost guaranteeing, I think ours are, the one that I made, I think is significantly heavier and thicker. I think I put a lot more cheese and meat into it. Yeah, 280. So 280 grams versus 215 to 220 grams. So also, it's a bigger quesadilla, and on a per unit, it costs less. But of course, we've got to do the actual taste test and see kind of how different or similar they really are. Like I
These
said,
probably
the first one I
taste
had was
better.
pretty solid, but I'm interested to compare it.
Boy, getting down.
Just like the other one, I mean, it's good, it's classic. I will say, this one does feel kind of tortilla forward. There's a lot of layers of tortillas that I kind of got to work through, which is why I'm excited to get into the one that I made right here. Let's go plain first. Immediately, the ratios are much better than this
Right.
one.
Y'all,
You can
this
really
this
just-
is torture, man. I want something to eat, bruh. Ah.
See a lot more beef packed in for sure. And like I said, I really do love the way that they've kind of presented this and they make this. It's just like a really enjoyable way to eat a quesadilla. Let's do the little trifecta bite with all three dippers. I will say, I do like the corn salsa too. I feel like if I do go to Chipotle, this is
Oh
typical.
no, you can't do that, bro. You gotta use your own, bruh. He cheating.
Man, I love this form factor so much. Because really, you could even pocket it open that way. Add in a little bit of the corn. Come in with our sour cream.
Y'all see the tech though?
Guac. That's pretty interesting too. You can kind of open up the pocket if you wanted to.
Man, that
Okay,
was
I gotta stop
fire,
myself before I
bruh.
get carried away. Let's do a final key takeaways, and then I would love to hear from you guys down in the comments. So for me, the homemade one just hands down wins. I mean, put a little bit more care and
Half the
effort
price.
into it. Got those ratios right where I like them to be rather than having to rely on someone else make it for you. And then knowing that I can kind of make different variations with that beef, I can make more quesadillas, burritos, rice bowls, things of that nature, really is comforting from like a home cooking perspective. And obviously, ordering out Chipotle is gonna be easy. You don't really need to think about it. You just do it, you get your food for the night. So like, I totally get, you know, I still go to Chipotle. I will still go to Chipotle after this video. But if you do wanna turn in and make something special, I think it is very easy to justify that this is going to cost less, and if depending on how you're cooking, it could even take less time. But yeah, very, very interesting. Anyway, this is where I would love to hear from you guys down in the comments. What did you think of this comparison?
Hey man, I'm hungry, y'all. Shout outs to Ethan C right here, man. This is a great video. I'm about ready to eat something. Let me know what y'all eating in the comments. Subscribe to him, subscribe to me. As always, it's your boy 2Centz. Say it with me. TCZ. We out.